Hello and welcome to Norwood Digest, Norwood Community Media's news magazine show. We've got a great show and we're going to start it right away. Joining us now from Dedham Savings is Tom Benson, who's the Assistant Vice President and the Branch Manager in Norwood, and CEO and President Peter Brown. So welcome to Norwood Digest.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, Jack.
So how big is Dedham Savings?
Well, we're creeping up on $1.9 billion and almost $220 million in capital, which kind of by itself are numbers that probably don't mean a whole lot to the average person. But I would consider ourselves sort of a medium-large community bank with lots of capital.
Good. And how many branches do you have?
So we have 9 full-service branches. Yeah.
And the one in Norwood is on across from the Heaven is how I always would
Yes,
explain it.
yes, 185 Central Street, right across from the Heaven.
And so, no, I mean, Dedham's been around a long time.
So, yeah, our bank was founded in 1831. So we're actually, depending upon whose list you look at, we're probably the 10th oldest bank in the country.
Wow.
Not just in Massachusetts. It's operating under the original name and under the original charter. So a lot of history.
So, Peter, you just were elected to a position as, chair of the Mass Bankers Association?
That's correct. That's right.
So tell us what that is. And I think, when does your term start? January?
It actually started last June.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I misread that.
Yeah, no, that's okay. So that's obviously our trade association here in Massachusetts. We have, give or take 140 banks that are within the association, and their primary role is we do a lot of lobbying, both on Beacon Hill and down in Washington, and then we're also a tremendous resource to the industry for educational purposes.
So you must have been involved in that association for a while. Is it like the Knights of Columbus? You kind of go through the chairs?
Exactly. So I joined the board there 8 years ago and kind of worked my way up to treasurer, vice chair, and now I'm chairman.
Okay. Now, Tom,
Yes.
what are the services? If I walk in tomorrow, I've never been there, I want to open an account, what do I want to do?
Well, you can see any one of us there at the bank to open an account, but we have everything from checking and savings, CDs, money markets, mortgages, commercial lending. We have pretty much everything, including an investment center that's free of charge, that if people have questions regarding their retirement or just any financial questions, we can help them out with that as well.
Well, I'm getting up to be that age, so I might have to
I
come
might
down
have to
there
stop
and-
down. It's a free service. So.
That sounds good to me.
Yeah.
What people don't know is how involved you are in the communities that you serve.
Right.
So, Tom or Pete, it doesn't matter. Some of the things that you've been involved in Norwood.
Yeah, I can definitely talk about that. I mean, we try and reach out to every aspect of the community. I grew up in town. I benefited from a lot of the programs in this town, so it's nice to give back, be in a position to give back to a community like Norwood. We deal with, the Norwood Fire and Police, Veterans Associations. We do financial literacy programs at some of the different elementary schools. Some of our biggest sponsorships, one of my favorite days, Norwood Day. Concerts on the Common, Friends of St. Nick, another great day in Norwood, and the 150th birthday celebration coming up, which I can't wait for.
So you basically just did the rundown of the rest of the guests on my show.
Yes,
Which is kinda
yes,
good.
I'm getting ready,
That's right, yeah.
and definitely excited about our relationship with the Skating Club of Boston as well.
Interesting you say that. The last show I did, we had Doug Zegheib on, and he was talking about this great event that you guys signed on to be sponsors. And by the way, Doug is a big fan of you guys. So tell us about that event.
Sure. That's one that's it's called Skate to Eliminate Cancer, a cause that's near and dear to my heart for some personal reasons. And Scott Hamilton, through his CARES Foundation, is the one who's sort of running it and will ultimately be donating all of the monies raised for cancer causes to Mass General Hospital and Dana-Farber. So we, because we have a nice banking relationship with Doug Z, we were sort of approached first to accept the overall sponsorship of the event, which we took in a nanosecond. So we're thrilled to be involved, and that's on December 4th.
And it's at the Skating Club of Boston.
Correct.
So, as I said, you have a big Doug is a big fan of yours, and he was saying, when they first were trying to finance, that you were the only bank president that showed up to their early meetings.
Well, I guess I wasn't busy that day, but but I knew what the club was all about.
Right,
and
it
the
was
history.
more personal to you in many ways.
Yeah, when they had their original location in Alston, kind of near on Soldiers Field Road, my grandparents were one of the first members there, and my mother and my aunt skated there as young girls. So, and I actually went there as a kid to learn how to skate. And then you fast forward, 60 some odd years later, my daughter skated competitively, not for the Skating Club of Boston, but for Winchester Skating Club. So I spent a few hours in the rink there. So
Wow.
I knew a little bit about it.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. So I'm just thinking if we got everything that I wanted to talk about. So what is it about Dedham Savings that people wouldn't know?
What they probably don't know is, our size. I think people
Yeah, what
sometimes
surprised
forget the size of the bank, and what comes with that is more complexity. So there's a lot more additional services than your traditional things that Tom had mentioned. We have a lot of cash management services geared towards municipalities and nonprofits. We have a wealth management company that we own where we do separate wealth management for high net worth companies and non-for-profits. Big construction loan portfolio, which in some circles would be considered risky, but if they're underwritten properly and you deal with the right people,
Right.
it's profitable. It's very, very good business.
So, like, I was going to ask you what kind of arrangement you have with the skating club on the financing, but is that a trade secret or something that I'd be asking you?
You never want to breach any level of
Right.
confidentiality with your customers, but it's public record. You can do a title rundown and see
Yeah.
that Dedham Savings is the only person or entity on the mortgage. So we have a very close banking relationship with them.
Good. All right, so Friends of St. Nick, you're a big contributor to the Friends of St. Nick. I've known that for many years.
Right.
And so the 150th, how'd you get involved with those guys?
Well, I
Or
think
just yourself, probably.
Yeah, I mean, I had heard about it and went to Peter and some of the other folks there and said, we got a big celebration coming up in town. What can we do to be part of it? Then we reached out to, some people that I know that are on the committee, and I guess the rest is history from there as far as getting involved with it. And I look forward to doing what I can to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And our good friend Mr. Thornton, worked right across the street from us at the water company.
Oh, right.
So we've developed a nice relationship over the years as well. So we were approached from many different angles, I should say.
Yeah. Well, listen, I just want to really thank you for all that you do for Norwood, and I know you do it for a lot of your other towns too. And off camera, I was saying that a lot of people don't know all the things you do, and you said something to me that I thought was really telling of who you are as a person. And you said, we don't like to brag because we're all in this together. And by that you meant Norwood Cooperative Bank, Dedham Savings. That you're almost not competing on that level, but you're all trying to do the right thing for the towns that you live in. And I think that's a great thing.
We do. We have the same mission. It's all about, a bank can only go as well as the communities in that it serves. And it just shows that banks like Dedham Savings, banks like Norwood Coop, there's still a niche out there for us. There's still a need for us. And, the big banks do a wonderful job on certain things, but I think there are things that banks like R2 do better.
Yeah,
and that's
I agree.
why we survive.
Yeah, I mean, there's a personal touch that
Yeah.
you folks have
Yeah.
that some big banks just can't do.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
Right.
So it's not necessarily their fault. They're too big.
Right.
And so, but anyway, thank you for being here.
Jack, thank you.
Continued success, especially with your. Is it just a 1-year term? So you're halfway through almost.
That's right.
So you
Yeah,
count
can't
the
wait.
days. But anyway, thank you so much for being
Well,
here.
thanks so much for having
Jack,
us.
thank you.
Appreciate
All
it.
right, it's good to see you
Good
again.
to see you. I'm sure we'll
And
see you soon.
don't forget that event on December 4th at the Skating Club of Boston. Proceeds to go to Mass General and Dana-Farber. Don't miss it. And I didn't ask, how do I get tickets? How do I get there? What do I do?
Well, like everything nowadays, you go online
they-
and you can buy them right online, just like I did last week.
So for more information, it was right there in front of me, scboston.org/frozen5k. So that's how you'll find it. And again, thanks for being here. And we'll be right back with, I think, the 150th committee.